I'm Patrick Green, and this is my digital story. At the beginning of the fall semester, I was eager to hear where I would be assigned for my first clinical rotation as a professional phase student, and I was actually really excited when I learned that my first clinical experience would be right here at UNE. My first impression of UNE from a clinical standpoint was both familiar and new at the same time. As a student here at UNE, I am familiar with the new Alphon Forum building and some of the new facilities. However, clinical turned my familiar experience kind of into a new one, as I discovered I'd be covering men's ice hockey for the duration of the winter season. And I remember on my first day of clinical was actually the first time I had stepped foot in UNE's ice arena, and I actually learned pretty quickly that a jacket was going to be essential for clinical at this site. My first few days at clinical did bring on some anxiety for me. My anxiety, however, was short-lived as I learned how friendly my preceptor Brittany was, and also how accepting the other athletic training students were. And after getting to know Brittany, upperclassman Sean Powers, and second-year student Matt Chenard, I began to feel a lot more comfortable at clinical, and I was eager and excited to go every day. After settling in at my clinical site, I found myself really enjoying being around the athletes and also getting to know some of the players. As the hockey season ended, we were assigned to work with the women's lacrosse team, which meant new faces and new names to learn. And working in the main AT room with the women's lacrosse team as of late has really broadened my experience, because I'm actually able to interact with athletes from other sports who are also in there seeking treatment. As I learned new taping skills and evaluation skills, I began to interact with our patients more often, as opposed to just listening and watching as Brittany worked. And learning the basic evaluation skills really helped me become a more active participant at clinical, as Brittany began to allow me to start to take the history and some of the basic evaluations of the patients that were coming into our athletic training room. Throughout my clinical experience so far, I have been able to practice some of the taping and wrapping techniques that I've learned with both Matt and Sean. And one of the most memorable experiences so far actually happened not too long ago, when I got to apply a groin wrap for a men's lacrosse player and an ankle taping for a women's basketball player before they were both to proceed to practice. And taping an actual athlete really gave me confidence in my skills, and it also fueled me with more motivation to become more assertive and also more involved at my site. My impression of UNE's athletic training facilities and staff have been very positive, and I was even fortunate enough to do something I thought I'd never do, which was meet an Olympic athlete. One of the USA women's hockey team members visited Brittany while I was at clinical, and was actually gracious enough to show us and let us hold her silver medal that she had won at the Sochi Olympics this year.